What's going on, everybody? You are now tuned into Harrison Family Values. This is a pre-recorded video, not live. But I wanted to talk to you guys about a video that I saw. So I've been ingesting this particular podcast that I like. I actually like this podcast. It's called Hardly Initiated. Not sure if you heard of it. If you haven't heard of it, please, by all means, go to that channel. And I would recommend subscribing. And I don't tell you guys to subscribe to a lot of people's channels, but these young men are an adequate substitution to the young men in Miami. Yeah. These young men actually have a podcast that is going to help young people. And I'm all for it. All for it. They've had a couple of very engaging and interesting interviews on their podcast. They're up and coming. They're way larger than me, but I'm older than them. So I'm like looking at these young men and I'm like, I can rock with these young men because they may talk about some topics that, maybe a little on the edge, but their heart is in the right place and they really want to add value to the community. Unlike the young men in Miami. I'm just going to say it right now. Unlike them, they're on it. They're on it. And I support these guys. And recently they had a now YouTuber and content creator, Samantha Lee, who is the ex-wife of Tyrese Gibson. She used to be named Samantha Lee Gibson, who had a pretty public divorce from Tyrese. Not so much that she made it public, but Tyrese be in his feelings. So I like Tyrese. I'm not gonna lie, I like him. He's a little all over the place, but I like the man. Like I think he's a decent man. I think he means well too. But he had his business out there on Front Street. Really did. To be honest, I didn't know who she was until he made her public. They've been married for all these years. I had no clue who she was. I knew he was married. I didn't know who she was. But now they're divorced. Now, if I can be honest with you, I looked into Samantha Lee, and she has an Instagram and she has a YouTube channel. And she does these shorts that I actually pretty like because what she's saying has some value and some truth to it, right? She's pro-marriage, regardless, even though she initiated the divorce from her husband. And again, I'm a divorcee, but I'm a pro-marriage advocate. Like I believe in marriage. And sometimes divorce it is inevitable, but with the proper supports, any couple can get through anything. And we're going to get into that in this video. But she is pro-marriage, and she talks about relationships, and a lot of times she's exposing women for their shortcomings in relationships and the fact that they don't want to keep a good man. And I think that she might have divorced a good man. And we're going to get into that in this video also. But at the same time, she's probably not going to watch this, but if she is watching this, she's on that danger. She seems to be on that thirst trap type of content creation where she's a beautiful woman. She is in shape. And men like that. Men want to see that. And no doubt, a lot of her following, a lot of her, subscriber base and followers, probably men that are fantasizing about the opportunity to have her as a wife or whatever, the way they want to have her. But some of her posts is like, you really don't got to be doing all that. Like, and again, you claim to be a Christian. I'm not here to judge. But how we present and how we represent Christ is very important. And if we're out there showing our goods to the world, and then, I leave that alone. I let my sisters, Berean Babes, and a couple of other sisters in the space talk about that. But nevertheless, she had some amazing things to say on that podcast interview that she did with Hardly Initiated. Shout out to these brothers. They're doing amazing things. And let's get into this interview real quick.
And so I think that with that being said, I didn't know that at the time.
Yeah.
and I made a decision like, well, I'm so angry, I'm so hurt, and this is, and I'm just like, forget it, like, never mind, like, I need to be done with this is horrible, just ruminating on all the negative things and not focused on any of the positive things. I posted a reel, and I mean this, I really mean this. There was a guy who was talking.
And her social media, like her Instagram, is all about, like, she does a lot of shorts, and she repurposes and reshares quotes from other people. So I think she really does mean well. So I'm not here to bash her at all, but she does say something profound here.
Talking about that before he decided to marry his wife, he had said or had told his wife that he needed to choose the people that would speak to her in her most emotional moments. Mm-hmm. And it was people that would be for the relationship.
Right.
And I know.
And so you hear what she just said? She said that there's a man who, had chosen people for her to speak to who would be in favor of the marriage, in favor of the relationship. That's important. That's very important, because some of us have people in our ear who will tell us to do things that's detrimental to the marriage or the relationship. That's very important. So I'm glad that she pointed that out.
A lot of people had different kind of like comments about the person and everything like that. But the message of what he was saying for me resounds true, because the people I had in my ear at the time.
Now listen to this carefully. Listen.
We're not for that.
Let me ask you this, because I think that's such a good point. Like, when you're even in that spot.
Now, this is why I love these brothers, right? Like I love their questioning. They do a really good job of listening and responding. I don't know why homeboy's shirt is all open like this. Like, bro, like put the tattoo away. Like, button up a little bit. Like, why you got your, like, Samantha Lee's on? He's like, yeah, what's all right, I'm joking. Just.
When you're emotional,
yes,
you're in the pit of your relationship.
Yes,
it's so important to make sure you have people who are pro-marriage, pro-relationship, 100%. Pro your current relationship,
100%.
To be able to help, as much as possible,
100%.
Make the best decision to keep the marriage going.
Yeah.
When everybody may not have access to that counsel. So let me ask you this: if we can go back, and if I were able somehow to insulate you with a pro-marriage, pro-relationship community, do you think you still would have actually gone through a divorce?
Did you hear that question? Shout out to the brother with the fire question. Like, if she was in a community, a pro-marriage community, would she have gone through with the divorce? And her answer is profound. Let's hear what the sister had to say.
Not that time.
Okay.
I don't know what would have happened.
Actually gone through a divorce?
Okay. Not that time.
Okay.
I don't know what would have happened.
She said not at the time.
Oh, I've never said this publicly.
No, that's what we do.
This is a hardly initiated exclusive, baby.
No, make sure you zoom in on this one.
No, actually, no. I want to deny myself. I want deniability. The truth about the matter is that if I had different people in my ear at that time, I would not have made that decision. No. I wouldn't. And that's the truth.
Who you have in your circle matters.
I tried my very best at this point in my life to be what I didn't have in that moment.
All right. So right now she's pro-marriage, pro-relationship. She just said she's trying to be right now what she didn't have in her relationship at that moment.
Person in your life to check you and say, sis, what about this? What about this? What about these strengths? What about what he's not doing? What, like, those types of things. That can get you thinking about the positive aspects of this person that you may not be thinking about when you're upset. You're only thinking about what you're mad about. Yeah. You're not thinking about all the other positive aspects of this person. And so in those moments, you need somebody to be the person for that person.
Yeah.
In those moments.
So it's still some people in the chat right now that they still confused. They really not understanding with the pro-marriage, right? Or somebody who's an advocate for marriage. So if you could just paint the people who weren't necessarily pro-marriage, and you coming to them, or you just expressing these different issues that you having, what type of responses were you actually getting versus what you should have been receiving?
It's not so much about what should have been received, because I think that based upon what had occurred in our relationship by that time, a lot of people were saying that this was time for me to leave this particular relationship. Yeah, it wasn't just me; it was my loved ones. I haven't been seeing a therapist. My therapist, I had people that were like, it's time. This is not the best decision for you to remain in as is. And so when that happened, or what I mean by pro-marriage is that there is people in my life that it's not so much pro-marriage, it's pro the other person.
So she admits to saying that if she had other people in her life talking to her that was pro-marriage, she probably would not have made the decision that she made. I have the opportunity to officiate weddings, and that's one of my joys, to bring a husband and wife together and to support them. And there's something that I tell them in every single wedding that I officiate, that it's going to get hard. And this isn't one of those things, well, Dre, don't speak that into existence. It's going to get hard. When you have two adults trying to blend a life, things will get difficult. You're going to have hard moments. You're going to have difficult moments. They're going to get on each other's nerves. A married couple, husband and wife, will get on each other's nerves, right? And who you speak to matters. So I would tell them, if you go and talk to your boys, I would tell the bridal party, your job, your responsibility is not to take them out and show them a good time. Your responsibility is to hear them out, pray with them, and send them home to their spouse so that they can work it out. That's what it's about. And I say that all the time. Every single wedding I officiate, I make sure I tell them that truth, because who you have in your corner, who you have in your ear, will definitely impact the success and the longevity of your marriage. As she says here, has she had different people in her life? Has she not been talking to her lawyer? Because we all know the lawyer wants one thing. Okay? Wants one thing. Oh, what is that? Oh, snap. Whoa. The lawyer wants one thing. Okay? And that's the money. That's the money. Your friends, so-called friends, want to see you happy. And if your man or your wife is not making you happy, they want to say, nah, you need to, go for your happiness and go and be happy. Leave that person and go and be happy. Happiness is paramount. Your happiness matters. And not realizing that they themselves are single and miserable, and they're putting you in the very same spot that they're in. That's why she said it's important to have people who are pro-marriage in your corner, which is why I tell married couples that they should have a community of other married couples that they're spending time with. There's no reason why. First, you shouldn't cut off your old friends that are single. Let me say that. But second, there's no reason why you're now spending more time with your single friends than you are with your married friends, or trying to make new married friends, especially if you're a Christian. If you're a Christian and you're part of a church, you should be spending time with other married couples in the church. Spending time hanging out, encouraging one another in the marriage. But some of you guys are like, Dre, that's outdated. No. If your marriage matters to you, you make those decisions. You choose who is going to be on your corner. Regardless if they've been in your life since elementary school. If they're not about your marriage, you cannot let them in, because at this moment, once you're married, your most important relationship is that with your spouse, that with your wife, or that with your husband. That's your most important relationship. So if you've had friendships for 30 years and they're not pro-marriage, you may need to cut them off. You may need to cut them off, because they would rather you be dysfunctional alongside with them instead of seeing you in a successful, fulfilling marriage, leaving and living a legacy with your spouse. So that's all I got to say about this. Shout out to Samantha Lee for sharing that truth. If you can just tone it down with the whole body parts on the Instagram, that would be great. And and to Harley Initiated, keep doing what you guys are doing, bro. Like, wow. Like, amazing podcast. Bro, button up one more. Just button up one more. You be straight. But seriously though, you guys are doing good things. And I'm glad that you guys are out here doing this, because the alternative is wreaking havoc in young men. And what you're doing is actually going to set young men up for success in life and in their relationships. So keep it going. All right, this is Dre, Harrison Family Values. Thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, all that good stuff. And until the next upload or live stream, I'm out. Peace.